Right now, at the biggest sporting event on the planet, something is happening that most fans don't even realize they should be angry about. It's quiet. It's dressed up in the language of player safety. And it appears to be making billions of dollars for people who were already making billions of dollars. This is the story of how FIFA, in the view of millions of football supporters worldwide, took the most beautiful sport on earth and quietly turned it into a commercial break. And before we go any further, this video contains commentary and opinion based on publicly reported information and broadcast observations. Where motives are discussed, they represent analysis rather than statements of proven fact. This channel, Footy Era, doesn't take money from FIFA, doesn't take money from broadcasters, and has no sponsorship deals with anyone selling you insurance or pickup trucks during live match footage. What we do take seriously is honest football coverage. So if at any point today what you're hearing sounds controversial, it's because what's being done to this tournament feels controversial to a lot of people. You deserve to hear it. Now, let's talk about the hydration break. That name. That careful, clinical, scientific-sounding name. 3 syllables doing the work of an entire legal department. Here's what it means in practice. FIFA has mandated a stoppage in every single one of the 104 matches at this World Cup, around the 22nd minute of each half, for a full 3 minutes. The official clock keeps ticking, which means at minimum 6 extra minutes of stoppage time gets added to every match, regardless of what's happening on the pitch. And officially, it's about keeping the players hydrated, about protecting them from heat, about ensuring equal conditions for every team across the tournament. Noble stuff, really noble stuff. Except the tournament opener between Mexico and South Africa was played on a perfectly comfortable June evening in Mexico City. 23 degrees Celsius, a light breeze. The Azteca, a stadium that has witnessed some of the greatest moments in footballing history, had its match stopped anyway. Players who, by most reasonable accounts, were not in environmental danger, were made to stand on the grass while a home improvement store ran its advertisement to the people watching at home. That's when you have to ask the obvious question. The one FIFA really doesn't want you sitting still long enough to ask. Who is this actually for? It doesn't appear to be for the fans. Every person who has ever loved football loves it precisely because it doesn't stop. That's not an accident. That's the soul of the game. 90 minutes, continuous, no timeouts, no commercial huddles, no scheduled interruptions. The thing that makes football the most watched sport in human history is the very thing many supporters feel FIFA just quietly agreed to dismantle. It doesn't appear to be for the players either. The players didn't ask for this. In real heat, genuine, dangerous, oppressive heat, a water break makes complete sense, and no reasonable person argues otherwise. But a mandatory 3-minute ceremony inside an air-conditioned dome at a pleasant temperature looks less like player welfare and more like theater. So follow the money. Because back in March, FIFA made an announcement that barely got mainstream coverage but tells you a great deal. They confirmed that broadcasters would be permitted to sell advertising during these compulsory stoppages. Read that back slowly. FIFA didn't just create a break in play. They packaged that break as a brand new sellable ad slot right in the middle of live football and offered it to television networks. In the view of many analysts and supporters, the hydration break functions as a revenue product wearing a lab coat so you don't recognize it for what it is. And the networks pounced. Fox in the United States went to full commercial breaks. Broadcasters in Brazil and Ireland took the slots too. But here's what makes this genuinely hard to defend. Some broadcasters said no. Telemundo in the US kept their cameras on the pitch the entire time, showing huddles, replays, analysis. Networks in Mexico and the UK refused to cut away to ads at all. Same break, same FIFA rule. And yet, certain broadcasters managed to simply not interrupt the football, which means it can be argued that every ad-filled cutaway from Fox was a choice, not a necessity. A decision made by executives in a room to take the money. And then Fox appeared to push the limits further. FIFA's own guidance states that broadcasters must return from the break 30 seconds before play resumes. In the very first match of the tournament, Fox reportedly came back after the ball was already in motion. They missed live World Cup football to finish running a commercial. In sports broadcasting, that is about as close to unforgivable as it gets. But the aspect that arguably affects the actual results is this. Referees are, by multiple accounts, being told to wait. In Brazil versus Morocco, the players were reportedly ready to resume before the 3 minutes were even up, and the restart was held. Morocco had just taken the lead. The momentum was clearly with them. After the stoppage, Brazil equalized not long after. Whether the break was a decisive factor is debatable, but the timing raises serious questions that deserve to be asked. Now here's what makes the whole thing feel so contradictory. This is the same FIFA that arrived at this tournament on a self-declared crusade against wasted time. Throw-ins not taken within 5 seconds are being penalized. Substitutes get 10 seconds to leave the pitch. Goal kicks are punished for delay. FIFA's own head of refereeing reportedly told players not to gather near the bench during injury treatment because it disrupts the flow of the game. And then those same officials installed what appears to be the longest deliberate stoppage in modern professional football into the middle of every single half. Coaches have reportedly been spotted using laptops. International managers have openly admitted using the time to deliver tactical instructions. Coaches have reportedly been spotted using laptops. International managers have openly admitted using the time to deliver tactical instructions. Critics argue that FIFA effectively banned the tactical timeout, repackaged it under a different name, and then sold advertising against it. Jurgen Klopp said, "Football is being held hostage by executives in air-conditioned offices." A lot of fans seem to agree. To be fair, and this channel always tries to be, real heat is a genuine concern. Some matches at this tournament will be played in Florida, where conditions could feel like 105 degrees Fahrenheit. In those circumstances, a water break is not just reasonable, it is essential. Nobody with sense argues otherwise. But that's exactly the point. If this rule were truly about heat, it would logically follow the heat. The way referee discretion worked from 2014 through 2022, when breaks were only called when conditions genuinely demanded it, a blanket mandate that fires in every dome at every comfortable temperature, looks less like a heat policy and more like a scheduling policy. The weather, to many observers, looks like the cover story. FIFA looked at the most watched, most loved, free-flowing sport on Earth and apparently decided its greatest flaw was that there wasn't quite enough room to sell you a truck. Before you go, and one final note, because transparency matters on this channel, the events and examples discussed in this video are based on publicly reported information from broadcast coverage and sports journalism. All editorial analysis represents the opinion of Footy Era. If you have additional context or a different read on these events, drop it in the comments. Genuinely, I read everyone, and I want to hear it. If honest, straight-talking football coverage is what you come here for, subscribe to Footy Era and hit the notification bell. This World Cup is going to keep generating stories like this one, and this channel is going to keep telling them to you straight. Genuine player protection, or the most transparent cash grab of the tournament? Tell me what you think below. The water breaks aren't the scandal. They're just the clearest proof yet that somewhere along the way, this stopped being about the football. And they're happening on schedule, twice a half, every match, whether the players need it or not.